Andrew WK is going to be the grog shop. All right, let's bring him in. There you go.
He's ready to
So
party.
it's a pretty good interview. You know what? He has all of these party anthem songs.
Right.
I could be wrong about it. I think he just has. I think, Andrew, you do all these party anthem songs, but I don't know if you're really like a huge partier yourself. Am I wrong with that?
Well, I guess, I mean, it depends on how you define partying. Are you a partier?
No. I mean, no.
Well, wait a minute. No, that doesn't seem possible because I was just watching that Rover Fest footage out there.
Yes.
Which seems to me like you're the master of one of the biggest parties you could ever throw.
Yeah, but I don't get to have any fun at those things because it's all put on by me and my company and
but maybe that's a form of partying in its own way. I mean, to facilitate partying for others certainly is a valuable contribution to partying in general, and maybe we can relate to one another in that way. I like throwing parties, and I think that even counts as partying. But it's hard to pin these things down. Like the way my grandmother partied, is very different from how my, young brother partied when he was 4 years old. So
we might have tried to get you at Roverfest this year.
I know you did.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe it was the second time, and it was extremely frustrating, especially this time because I had spoken with my manager, the last time we weren't able to do it, that I really want to do it next year, and it was again like I was already booked. It's one of those things, but. Thanks for asking.
Stop booking all these gigs. Why don't you just take a hiatus, July 2014, clear out the whole month, and we'll I don't know what date it's going to be, but sometime in July.
Okay. Well, I actually will keep that in mind. So,
what have you been up to? You were here, I think, about a year ago or something. What's changed in your life in the past year?
Gee whiz. Well. A lot, and at the same time, nothing. I mean, I'm just partying. I think it feels like I've been partying nonstop since the last time. Which
do you drink a lot? I mean, do you drink? Do drugs? I mean, what do you?
Well, I've always enjoyed, alcohol and drugs, of course, and anything like.
Of course.
I mean, when I say of course, for me, it's always been a pleasant and sort of a inspiring kind of feeling.
What drugs? What kind of drugs do you prefer?
I've probably tried every drug, I guess, at this point, except some of the very exotic ones, like what's that one that you do in the jungle, or ayahuasca or something like that. And I've never shot up any drugs with needles, except like at the doctor's office or something. But I guess everything else I've tried, in one form or another. Some of them didn't work.
What do you mean they didn't work?
Well, I didn't really feel anything.
Like what? What did you try that didn't work?
Some kind of opium thing. That might have been for the best. And then there was the first couple times I tried smoking marijuana, I didn't feel anything. But that changed. Eventually, I could tell that I felt different.
I was down in one of the last times I smoked weed. I don't really smoke weed. And a few years ago, I was down in Jamaica, and you're like,
okay.
Well, you're in Jamaica, you have to smoke weed. So everyone on the show's down there smoking weed. I smoke a lot of weed, but I swear to God, I did not feel high at all. And these guys are like, "Oh, you didn't inhale, you didn't inhale."
You didn't inhale, dude.
I go,
when you open your mouth, it just all came out. There's no lung inhale.
Of course, I tried, but
dude, I saw it because you don't smoke. You never smoked a cigarette before, right?
I have smoked a cigarette before, but
not like a smoker like Charlie smokes. And
you think he doesn't know how to smoke?
I don't think he does because we all got
inhale part.
We all got high as a kite, man. We were ripped.
Do you know how to drink through a straw?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's odd because normally I feel like it's sort of smoking's like drinking through a straw if the liquid was, these fumes.
Yeah.
So when you here's the question: when you smoked, you felt it hit your lungs?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay,
of course, I inhaled. I mean,
we all saw. We all agreed. Rover, it didn't look like it.
I don't know how you weren't high. We were
ripped.
I don't know.
The strongest Jamaican weed ever.
I don't know.
Maybe his body rejected it. I mean, its molecules have to connect to other molecules in your brain for you to feel these things. Maybe your body said no. Maybe it was an overdose. You got so high that it kind of flipped back over again.
And then I'm sober. Right.
Yeah.
You went all the way around.
I don't smoke weed very often. And I, of course, have to preface this because I'm probably being taped and I'll probably be charged with being a weed dealer at any moment.
Oh, jeez.
It's a long story, Andrew. I'll tell it to you off the air. But anyhow, the only time I would ever smoke weed is if I was already drunk. And so the last time I smoked weed was one of those things. And if I didn't, I inhaled that time. You guys saw me bombed.
Oh,
just
really?
Bombed.
Oh,
bombed.
wow.
That was you, right? That day
you saw that.
We saw that.
Okay.
We was drunk.
So I know how to inhale, but I didn't know how to
drunk,
inhale
dude.
back in Jamaica.
He drank all day, so I think that was you drunk.
No,
I still haven't seen you high.
That was some super dank Maui Wowie that we had at that party that I gave you that you were retarded on.
Did he inhale? Dumb. Did he inhale?
He inhaled, absolutely inhaled.
Okay, you paused.
There you go.
Well, I have a question, because going back to what you said where you were hesitant to discuss certain things like this, and of course I just said a bunch of stuff. I always wondered that if you went into the police station and said, I, in my life, have tried illegal substances, I mean, they might just say that's a waste of their time, get out of here, but is that admitting to a crime that you could then be prosecuted for? I always wondered that. It's not like killing someone where
we could try it today after the show. Probably get some publicity out of it if you want to.
Someone calls in and has that kind of knowledge. I mean, this is the kind of things that you start to wonder about, especially when you talk openly and freely.
I normally try to talk openly and freely, but my
advisors.
I had an incident that has shaken my belief in the maybe not in the justice system as a whole as of yet, because it hasn't entirely played out, but. It really shaken my belief. I was always a guy that was of the belief that I always gave the benefit of the doubt to the police.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not saying, look, I'm not naive. I know that not every police officer is on the straight and narrow and truthful and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
like anybody else,
I thought most of them are good, and they're not going to...
go out of their way to get you in trouble.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Or to fabricate things and that kind of stuff. But my belief has been shaken somewhat. So
no need to say more, because I can understand how right now there could be some police officer that's just getting upset at the very idea of you getting upset at them. I mean, let's just leave all that there.
Have you ever been in any sort of legal problems? I'm sure you've been through lawsuits, that kind of crap. Just every entertainer has, but.
Nothing really directly with police officers. I feel sort of the same way as you. I was just always wondering about sort of how that kind of stuff worked. And then let's say you even did admit to doing something like something to me as trivial as drugs, because I think drugs should just be legalized, across the board.
Yeah.
So let's say you did, and then they said, okay, well, now you're in trouble. And you went if you and said, well, I was just lying. I was just joking about that.
Then they'd probably go, well, you filed a false police report, made a false statement. We're going to get you on that. They'll get you any which way that they possibly can.
And that's probably the truth, is just be respectful, because they have a lot lot of power, and they can wield it however they choose.
You ever been arrested, Andrew?
No,
never. Not once.
I really lucked out, and I'm kind of amazed by my own good fortune there. I think there are guardian angels, maybe just for me specifically, allowing me to keep partying in the way that I do somehow, because I can't believe the stuff that I've gotten away with. It's pretty unbelievable.
Andrew WK is here in the studio with us. He'll be at the Grog Shop tonight at 9 p.m., and I'll give you the number to purchase tickets here in just a second. His website is andrewwk.com. I think the last time you were here,
I sat over there. I remember that.
Yeah.
This is nice, though.
You like this new setup that we have in here?
I don't think I've ever sat on a couch in a radio studio before.
Yeah.
It's and I was a little concerned at first. I thought it was going to be kind of, I don't know, too deep and like too relaxing. It's actually quite upright and quite firm.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time just getting the perfect couch here for the studio.
I really like it.
Did the last time you were here, I think you... All right, you're married now?
Yeah,
or are you
yes.
still married?
Yeah,
right.
Still married.
I remember we talked about your wife for some reason. I don't remember. Do you remember what it was?
Because she rocks. That's the obvious reason.
Isn't she like a vocalist or something?
Yeah, that's how we met, through a singing teacher, because I was looking for a hype woman, basically, to join my rock band. And it was just very hard to find... with all due respect to
a hype woman. I mean, I've heard of like a hype man that rappers have and stuff.
Yeah, like Flavor Flav, the ultimate hype man. But I wanted an ultimate hype woman, because we didn't have any women in the band, and I just thought it would be
it's fun to have a hot chick doing it.
Just you do that very well. It's just a good vibe, and it was just very hard to find a lady with again, all due respect to all ladies, that was hardcore enough to headbang and throw down and go on tour and just party the way that we do in this organization. But then I found this woman, Sherry, and she's just, now she's starting to out headbang me, which is getting a little threatening.
Does she like go on tour with you and stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So she's in town today?
No, because this show, unlike the last time I was here, I've never done a show like I'm about to do here in Cleveland. This is a solo show where it's more like a party, actually. That's why we were playing at the Grog Shop. It's supposed to have the atmosphere of hanging out with your friends. And I'll play songs off all my albums. I have my keyboard and my microphones, but it's a lot more intimate, a lot more intense, and more like, I don't know, really like a jam out where the crowd practically becomes my band. It's like a sing-along versus more of a traditional performance where I have my band. But, I just played a few days ago in Chicago with my band, and we'll be playing again actually at Rob Zombie's Halloween. Big extravaganza. He's building that haunted house in Pomona, California. So I'm just trying to do all different kinds of shows and rock out as hard as possible.
My audio guy, Charlie, I think, went to go see your show last time you were here. Didn't you, Charlie? What did you think of it?
It was great. He played I Get Wet from beginning to end.
Oh, yes.
And then he did a whole song all about Giant Eagle.
That's right.
Off the top of his head. It wasn't just
the grocery store.
He didn't just change like 3 lyrics. He changed the entire song off the top of his head, like almost freestyling, and it was great. I loved it.
That is very kind of you. I was very inspired. It was a great grocery store.
Did you really do that, or did you write it out in advance? Did you really do it off the top of your head?
No, it was spontaneous. I think I had been singing earlier in the day, like Giant Eagle, because it's just a great name, too. But, actually talking about tonight's show, there's a lot of moments in this solo show, specifically because I don't have the band, that I am able to improvise and make up stuff on the spot and make up whole new songs from complete scratch. So for me, it's very stimulating. It makes me a better performer, to have to, I guess, do your best in these different kinds of shows.
I know he did it improvised too, because I don't know if you remember, Andrew, but he also threw out 4 other ideas of songs, and it was up to the crowd to pick which song we wanted to hear him play.
And people
about all the different subjects.
I didn't remember that. You're right. Because one of my things was just I love, Cleveland, probably.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Ohio. Or I love New York City with the original lyrics. And then, Giant Eagle. And the crowd there was no debate. They instantly responded to the Giant Eagle.
Giant Eagle, right.
of all the ideas. Yeah.
Also, the last time you were here, you had told us this story about the song. You had written a song, and it was a girl. I think it was a girl in Ohio.
Yes. Well, no, in Michigan, where I grew up.
But doesn't she now live here or something? Wasn't there some story about a girl living here or something? I
really
thought
hope
that there was.
He was helping somebody work on their piano stuff.
What?
In the city. He was here. That's what I remember.
I don't know. I thought that there was some girl that was involved here or something. Yeah.
We've all partied so hard that we can't remember anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't you have to have a piano put into some high-rise or something for her? That's what I remember a story. You were had some piano moved into a high-rise building.
Well, I had a piano. Yes, I tried to do that in my current apartment and was unable to. I know who you're talking about. Yes, my friend Baby D, who lives in Cleveland, actually is just in the process of moving. I gave her my piano because I couldn't get it into my New York apartment.
Oh, there you go.
But actually, now I have it in storage here in Cleveland, so I'm trying to get it back to my house. But these are all crossed over because these are all separate stories. The song I wrote was for a girl in high school. That's not the girl who lives in Cleveland that has my piano.
Okay.
But not like it matters, It's actually more interesting that way.
You, I was reading, it said, and I don't even know if this show on Fox News is still on. They do like this show. It's on in the middle of the night on the weekends.
Red Eye.
Red Eye, right?
Yeah, that's still on. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it said that you are a frequent guest on this show. Why?
Well, the main reason was that the gentleman, the host, Greg Gutfeld, who's actually gone on to be very successful, writer, and he edited magazines for many years, like Maxim and Stuff. I think he worked there, and he asked me to be on the show, and he was friends with many other musician friends, like Odorous from Guar, and this great comedian named Neil Hamburger. And I had always wanted to get inside the Fox News building just to see what the heck is going on in there. And I mean, it was right down the street. It's right down the street from where I live in New York. So it's just a quick walk over, and it was great. I mean, I've been on many times, and that's actually the show that's the most freewheeling and open, I think, that I've seen on, almost on any news program or news network. But man, just getting inside that building was amazing. On the first day, I saw Karl Rove not being let back behind security. And, he was actually really nice. I almost was going to ask him for his autograph, but then I thought he might take it in the wrong way. I don't really go on either side with politics. I just kind of want to explore all these realms.
Well, you must be a little bit. I mean, if you think drugs should be legalized and all that, you must be a little more liberal than conservative, I guess so. Imagine.
Well, I just feel like people, should be able to have adults, should be able to have experiences that don't harm anyone else. And it seems like if anyone's going to get harmed by drugs, it would just be yourself. And believe people have the right to harm themselves if they want.
What do you do at home? Spend most of your time doing what? When you're not out touring, what are you doing at home? Making music, producing music, just hanging out? What do you do most of the time?
Hopefully want to, record this new album and get that out. Actually, it might have just been announced. Excuse me. Gee whiz. Sorry about that. It might have just been announced moments ago. And I'm even willing to take a gamble here and announce it for the first time. I did announce earlier this morning that I was going to make a big announcement, and I think it's already just gone live online maybe about 15 minutes ago. I'm writing a book about partying.
Oh, there it is.
Thank you very much. But Simon & Schuster is going to publish this book, and I've already been working on it for quite some time, but we hadn't announced it yet.
How does this even come about?
I don't know.
I'm fascinated by this. Like, no. And what I'm fascinated by, and I don't mean this to be taken the wrong way or in any sort of like demeaning or degrading way.
Oh, no.
Like, no. I understand how... If I don't know, Beyonce wants to write a book or whatever,
Sure.
like she's known all over the world or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
How does the Andrew WK book come about? Do they reach out to you? Do you go to them? Do you have an agent, or how?
It was a it was a combination of things. Initially I had this idea. I wanted to write a book about partying, and I had a lot of encouragement from my fellow partiers and people that would ask me questions and say, I wish you guys would write all this down. Kind of like what we're doing now in an interview. People said, I wish you would just write this stuff down because I would like to read it, and keep it with me. And I thought, well, that's an interesting idea and very encouraging. And, I was inspired by their enthusiasm. And, then a book company in New York approached me about doing it. And then we said, well, let's see if anyone else is interested in publishing it. And next thing you know, Simon & Schuster's sending me a contract. I can't look. No one is more blown away or baffled than I am that I get to do these things.
Do you write it yourself, or do you have a ghostwriter help you, or how have you done it so far?
I'm learning how to type, and even writing with a pencil, I have to sort of retrain myself how to do cursive and all that. I'm just going to type it down, and and speaking of this, I would like people to tell me what they would want in this book about partying. To tweet me their ideas.
What is your? Is this going to tell stories about some of your partying? Is that?
I don't really think there's going to be many stories. I'd like to save that for another book later. This is not like a memoir, my life story. This is just a book about life,
like hangover cures.
No, maybe. I don't really. The best cure I have for that is just to continue partying.
So what is it when you say it's a book about partying?
It's a book.
Stories?
No stories. I don't think. I really don't want to have many anecdotes in there. I feel like that's kind of been covered time and time again. This is a book about living life to the fullest through the power of positive partying. Now, the fact that the book doesn't exist yet makes it slightly more difficult for me to talk about. We just announced that it's happening, and then I have to, actually finish writing it.
What's the most epic partying moment of your life, Andrew?
Well, I mean, much like we were talking about not being able to remember things, since the moment I moved to New York City at age 18, which was now 14 years ago, or no, 16 years ago, see? That's when everything just changed. It became this big ball of life, like separating experiences or certain memories became very hard. It just became like one big adventure.
Yeah.
And to me, that is sort of what I want to feel. I want to feel like life itself is the most epic party I've ever been to. Not being dead is the greatest adventure I've ever had, so far.
Partying cut down or go up after you got married?
Oh, way up.
Really?
Yeah. I think because it sort of took the edge off of trying to find someone, and once you find them, then you don't have to try to maintain some kind of, higher standard of being, trying to impress somebody. So I just let it all go, much to her dismay.
You have kids yet, or
No.
are you ever going to have kids, do you think?
I would like to form a human. That would be, it seems like talk about, creative projects. That seems like in many ways the ultimate one, and just baby them up and raise them up and sort of see what happens to them.
Wouldn't that make you, wouldn't that sort of impede on your partying?
Well, not me. I mean, I guess it depends on, again, how you define these things. I mean, I always thought of it like this. People can say, like, oh, I party on the weekend because I'm glad that Friday's here, that work is done, or I party on New Year's to celebrate the new year, or I party on my birthday because I'm thankful for when I was born. If you're thankful to be alive every day, then you have reason to celebrate. And just being in that state of mind, to me, counts as partying. And you know, in terms of people saying, like, oh, you have to do this to party, or, you know, you're not partying unless you do that. That's just not very fun. You know, no one likes a dictator when it comes to partying. So I'm just here to try to create an atmosphere of cheered up, joyful energy, and then people can take it and use it however they want.
Are you still the world record holder for drumming session? I heard that you set that record, I think, last year or this year.
A few months ago, it was a very particular record. I drummed for 24 hours in Times Square, and I don't believe anyone had drummed for 24 hours in Times Square in a retail store. Well, the more specific that you make it, you know, you can actually make it impossible for anyone to...
No one has sat in this chair in this studio for this long. I hold the world record for that. Yes.
That's true. And that's a record you should feel very proud about. It wasn't so much about the record. It was more about the feat of can it be done, especially by me. I'm not really a drummer. You know, I can play drums all right, but I was joined by Questlove. He came and played drums next to me. I had Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers. A marching band came by, and, you know, it was quite challenging, but also very exciting.
So you had to stay up for 24 hours straight?
Yes, that was the part I was least worried about, because I've stayed up, you know, for many days at a time. And
how do you do that? Do you do that with the help of some sort of drug?
You can, but I've also done it without anything. You just, you know, it's grueling. You know, your body starts to feel very strange. But as long as you're engaged, I think the most important thing is to stay active. So, you know, drumming by its very definition requires a physical level of activity that will keep you going.
What's the longest you have stayed awake at once?
I guess around 72 hours. It was trying to meet a deadline for my second album, and just, you know, there was no time to waste. Otherwise I wasn't going to get these songs done. It was painful.
Here's Andrew WK. There he is, breaking the drumming record there.
Oh, yeah.
Video of that. Confetti comes down. He just hit the 24-hour mark there.
It was pretty intense, but again, very memorable. You know, you gotta try to seek out those challenges in life that are, you know, fun but also hard.
So 72 hours, you're just trying to put to deliver. What are you? I mean, you're mixing stuff, or what are you doing?
No, that was actually to go into mixing. So this was just trying to finish recording the raw tracks. I mean, everything from, you know, had a very sort of ridiculous level of assembly in some of these recordings where every song had to have this sound added, and then I had to go back and add it to everything. I was like, oh, well, this tambourine sounds really good. Now let me go put it in all the rest of the songs. And, you know, it's just like building a car or something. There's a certain number of pieces that have to be in there, or it's not going to work. You know, it's going to fall apart as soon as you start to drive it. So I had to just finish it. And, you know, that having a task to complete makes it easier to stay awake that long. If you're just sitting there, I mean, you're going to fall asleep. You can fall asleep standing up, too. I've done that as well.
I just saw something go down your cheek. Is that sweat or a tear?
I think it was a bit of both, sort of a mixture. I think I'm crying out of my skin, but it's tears of joy, so don't get me wrong. I feel very happy right now.
Did you see that, dude?
No,
You're probably further away.
I can't pick it up on that.
I don't know why it is. I'm always overheated.
so you're just sweating.
Just burning calories, I guess. You know, I have a very hot core, molten core. I'm not proud of it, you know, but I'm not ashamed of it either. I don't know why.
Chicks do say Andrew WK is hot. You know, literally, just to the touch, he's hot.
Well, I do kind of smell a lot of the time. I've noticed this, especially on tour. For example, today I was going to wear my white clothes that I traditionally wear when I'm, doing anything, but they are so wet from the show last night in Columbus, Ohio, and so, to be, honest, just really smell horrible. Sort of like a combination of fungus and mildew, and then bodily fluids of all kinds, beer and vomit and pizza grease, which is, I think, one of the worst lingering smells is the smell of sort of the grease from cheese pizza. You'd think it would be appetizing. Anyway, but I try to explain that to people that I don't smell. It's my clothes, my hair, my skin, and my body that smells, not me.
Do you only have one pair of the white outfit? Like one?
I have backups, but on this tour, much to many people's dismay, I only did bring one set.
And you wear that every night?
Yes, and I have not washed it.
That.
I have not watched it.
That is disgusting.
That's a party.
Yeah,
Party clothes.
it's not very hygienic. I sometimes break out in rash or boils. I do have a few boils at this time.
Well, Charlie, my audio, I've gone on vacations with this guy to like Europe and stuff, and I have to shower 2-3 times a day when I'm traveling. Yeah,
you feel grubby otherwise. I mean,
yeah, so, and he'll wear the same clothes. I'm not kidding you.
3 days in a row. I don't care.
3-4 days in a row.
He's like Andrew.
Long live the party,
and
man.
when I say he will sleep in them,
No way.
yeah, we'll come back because we'll get done partying 5 in the morning. We'll pass out. The next day, I'll get up, I'll shower. He'll just sleep through me showering. I'll be like, hey, dude, let's go. He just gets up and goes.
No shower?
Puts on the same socks that he had on. I mean, it's just...
Well, if I even have to put the socks on or the shoes, as soon as you say let's go, I'm up and I'm ready to walk out the door
He's
within
hardcore.
4 seconds. I don't care.
And he wants to get his value out of every laundry load. I mean, if you can extend the clothing just that much longer, why not get that use out of it?
It's disgusting. Let me quickly go to a couple of phone calls for Andrew WK. And before we let him go, because I have to end the show here in just a moment, Justin, you're on Rover's Morning Glory with Andrew WK. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, Rover.
Hey, what's
Good morning, Andrew.
Hello, Justin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm a huge fan of yours. I met you at the Odeon like 10 years ago. Put on a great show.
Thank you.
And at my brother's house, we referred that to as the first church of Andrew WK. And we even have a Facebook page.
Oh, wow.
For the First Church of Andrew WK.
Huge
And we would be
fans.
honored if you would check it out sometime.
I will absolutely. I mean, do I just search for that on Facebook and it'll pop up?
I would imagine it would. There's only like 8 of us in it because it's a real small thing with us.
Is there an altar?
Basically, the house. It's just an ode to partying. And
Wow.
every time somebody says I can't party anymore, we just ask, what would Andrew WK do?
Wow. Well, I am humbled.
WWAWK.
I am humbled by this.
There you go.
Thank you for creating this church.
Thank you, Justin. Do you ever party with people? I mean, if this guy,
Oh, absolutely. Especially if they did something like that over the top to show their support. And I don't feel like it's not just to support me. It's just that they also feel the same way I do. That's how I feel like this solidarity that we want to have as much fun as we can, and it really is a team effort. I mean, I wouldn't be able to keep doing this, or even be here talking to you, if there wasn't this shared enthusiasm for partying.
There was a funeral. A guy died who was a big Andrew WK fan, and his friends reached out to you. You went to the funeral, and you played at the funeral.
Yeah, it's a very sad story. But it was a very young man named Dom, who I think just almost on a whim had said when he's out with his friends, a few years earlier, that if he ever died, he'd want Andrew WK to play his funeral and make it a party. But I don't think he ever expected he would die, and he died of of a brain aneurysm, just something, a fluke.
And that could just happen. I mean,
it happened. I mean, he wasn't even, I don't know, 21 years old or something. And if someone contacts you and tells you that story, there was no debate in my mind whether to go. It was just very upsetting, and the least I could do to make his wish true.
And he actually, Andrew WK went.
Wow.
Now, you didn't play the party music. You just played the piano or something like a somber.
They had an organ, actually, which was really nice to play. And I asked them, I said, I'll do whatever you want. I'll just play whatever you want. And I did. And, it was just his parents were there and his girlfriend. But what they said was, really amazing, that Dom didn't want his passing to be sad. He wanted it to be a celebration of the good times that he had, and we tried to keep that in mind.
Let me go to Zal in Columbus. You're on Rover's Morning Glory. Didn't you just say, Andrew, you were in Columbus recently?
Yeah, last night.
Last night, yes. Zal, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Andrew, I saw you last night.
Oh.
Badass show.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I mean, it was chaotic as heck. I mean, wow.
I was blown away. It was a party. In fact, I'm on vacation next 2 or 3 days. I've been just continuing,
There you go. See, you picked up the momentum, and now the party inertia just keeps rolling. But
precisely.
So he went to this show. I think that's a very perfect explanation. It really is just a party. It's not a presentation from a performer to an audience. It's a bunch of people getting in a room together and going completely
partying.
Ballistic. Yeah. Thank you for coming.
My question is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I would be there anytime you're in the Capitol.
Thank you.
But check this out. I got a question for you. I've heard that there are imposters of you going around, or in the past there have been people who have impersonated you.
Yes, this. I have been accused of this, or this has been a theory that some people have. My latest theory about why people have said this, because there's been times when I've gotten very frustrated where someone said there's a fake Andrew WK, or that I am a fake Andrew WK, there's a real one, or that I replaced one, or that there's multiples. I would get very angry about this. People would say I don't really exist, or that I'm an actor, and things like that. Sometimes I would just try to go along with it. Sometimes I would deny it. I think all it is that someone will come to a concert and maybe someone dresses up like me, because it's very easy to do, and I encourage it. It's easy to wear white, and they just assume that was me. And I think sometimes people go along with it and say, yes, I am Andrew WK. And you know what? I think everyone should be able to be me if they want. I want to be them too.
Here's what I think.
All right.
Because we've talked about this.
Did we talk about it before?
I think you've been in here 2 or 3 times. I think you've been here at least 3.
This
Allegedly.
is the third time.
Right.
Allegedly. Let's be honest, because I've seen this guy before. Doesn't look like the same guy. Look at these arms. He did not have arms this big last time he was here. I'm not trying. I'm not gay, man. I'm just saying.
But he remembered where he sat in the studio.
Oh, that's stage. He knew that. He said, listen, when you go in, you're going to be in a different spot. Remember where you sat last. Don't say you sat in the couch last time, because that couch wasn't there. Make sure you point to where you sat last time.
They have a whole.
They have all their bases covered.
They're like the Secret Service. They have a whole team that comes, an advanced team, basically, to scope everything out.
The guy that came with him, I saw him here 3 hours ago in the bathroom.
But we've talked about this. I think you've been on the show 3 times. We talked about this at length, and this whole Steve Mike or whatever, this whole thing.
Yeah.
And did they switch? Was Andrew WK from the first album? Is this one now a different one? I think that this was basically, my theory on this is that you concocted this to, just to pique people's interest and keep them interested and see if you could pull this over on people. Am I right about that?
There's no reason not to look at it that way either. I mean, whatever. At this point, I'm just trying to get past it and going along with it, or saying that, it's all just a big made-up thing. I mean, in many ways, there is a lot of truth to that. I mean, just because I worked with people that helped me create what we've done, though, doesn't mean it's fake or trying to trick people. I'm trying to party with people, really, and I just
all right, so here's the question. Actually, the last time you were here, you said you would reveal it. I think you were here. You've been on the show a couple of times. One was in 2010. You said... I think you were here in January of 2010. You said that you would reveal everything within 1 year. Yes, you were here January 21st, 2010.
Jeez, I don't remember that at all.
It's now been a long time.
I really don't.
The last time you were here wasn't that long ago, but he was here January 2010.
That was the first time.
And you said within 1 year, by the end of the year, it will be revealed. So there was never another guy. You were the guy put out the first album and went on stage at all his performances. That was you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
And I've always said that. I've always stood by that. There's certain things that I have agreed not to talk about, and that has made all of this stuff way more complicated. I don't want to say I regret it. I take responsibility for poor decisions, or decisions that seemed good at the time that now have had repercussions and have just confused things to such a degree that it just seems pointless to me to even try to go into it. I just want to have fun and encourage people to focus on that. And if they want to think whatever they want to think, I can't control it.
Andrew WK is like a mall Santa Claus. They're all over the place.
Right. Yeah, I am a big fan of Santa. A big fan.
Andrew WK will be at the Grog Shop tonight at 9 o'clock. His website is andrewwk.com. For tickets, you could call this number, 216-321-5588. That's 216-321-5588. The website, I think you can purchase tickets on the Grog Shop's website, is grogshop.gs.
Well, you can get them on my website, on my Twitter /AndrewWK. I'm going to be giving away tickets, so there's no shortage of ways to find them.
There you go.
Just show up tonight, too. I mean, it's always possible there's tickets at the door.
Andrew, I appreciate you coming in.
I very much appreciate
Maybe
being
we'll
here.
see you at Rover Fest next year, perhaps.
July, I'm trying to do everything I can to keep it
July
open.
2014, or at least one of you can show up. I mean, come on. All 4 of you can't
maybe
be
you
booked
can
that
be
month,
me
right?
that night.
Give me the white outfit. I'll do it. Andrew WK, thank you. I have to take actually, I don't have to take a break. We have to go. We will be back live tomorrow morning. Have a great day. It's Rover's Morning Glory. We'll let a little Andrew WK play us out.
Nice.
Bye.
Nice, yes.